are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Bone Throwers Theater. My name is Jeremy and I am playing Julian Illix.
This is Johnny and I'm playing Chine North.
This is Aaron playing Sam Feluge.
This is Jeff playing Jerr Lan.
This is Ellie playing Archi and only Archie.
For now. And this is Jordan and I'm playing everybody else. So previously there was a whole bunch of confrontation. There was maybe an occasional deceit.
No. Everybody left off with the saying they need to go find Julian.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to leave them all behind.
Well, that didn't work out for
No.
you. Were you hoping to confront Julian about perhaps the...
Stabby?
Yes, in a calm manner, without other people around.
Okay. That sounds contradictory, but alright. So, Jeremy, where is Julian?
Julian has gone off into the wilds of the animal preserve to try and find a place where he can just...
Julian.
Yeah. Put some pieces together.
Well, I'm sorry that there's no, convenient whiteboard or red string or
Well, I was saying both,
newspaper clippings.
both elementally and if he can work at it physically as well.
Okay.
So the next thing on his agenda would be to find that place where he can sort of create a quasi-base of operations. So just a strategic place where he can see if any person or android is he knows if somebody's approaching kind of place.
Okay.
And then after he's done that, he was going to try and connect with Daisy,
Okay.
which is Qatar's elemental.
All right. Throughout the animal preserve, there are actual, watchtowers, fire watchtowers, also to keep an eye on larger game that would be free roaming. So if you wanted to go ahead and use something like that, or maybe find a little cave or grotto, there's plenty of naturally secluded areas in the...
Hesitation for using the watchtowers would be that androids would be frequenting that place. So,
That could be a problem.
which may not necessarily be a bad thing. But at this point, that's not what he would do.
Okay.
He wants to try and see if he can get another bit of information or something else first.
Okay.
Yeah, find a cave, small cave or something, and he's going to try and connect with Daisy.
All right.
Within that cave, he pulls out one of his small vials of dirt, rubs it in his hands, and is just going to sit very still while he's doing this, really trying to concentrate on getting this right. So, about how far from the hospital is this?
How long do you spend walking?
I would say probably a total of at least a half an hour, but that's probably not in the same direction.
Okay, so you probably...
It was circling area, so he knows everything that's in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he's walking 30 minutes out, finds a cave, and then just gonna go there. He wants to just know what is around.
You're probably about a mile away.
Okay.
Taking some the paths and everything that have been already cleared out of the brush.
All right. So in that case, what he would do then is that's where he would kind of say where his refuge is going to be, but then venture a little bit closer to it because he, to this point, has only been able to do up to a kilometer away.
Okay.
So he knows he would have to be a little bit closer to try and make this connection.
Okay.
So.
Too short.
You need 24 again?
I need 23.
Oh, you got 22?
I got a 21.
Still worth the floor.
Spending a character point
Okay.
just to get this. As long as I don't roll a 1, I'm fine. Woo! You saw it for
I
a
saw
second.
that.
I was like, I want to dance on this one side for a second.
Let's enjoy that glance of a single pip.
So he's now sensing earth elementals within a kilometer radius. And since he has connected with Daisy a few times before, would be able to pick out which one is Daisy.
There's a lot of elementals in this area. Oh, yeah.
I would assume so,
Yes.
especially Earth.
Uh-huh.
So, pinpointing which one is Daisy's general state of mind before he speaks.
Delirious. Fever. Not the greatest.
All right. So he's going to reach out then and speak. Daisy, it's Julian. Can you speak?
You get an image of yourself.
Okay.
It's kind of murky. And it looks more like you from before you left Consiglio. Because the ship has done a number on your personal hygiene, and the hair has grown longer and a little bit more scruff, that kind of thing.
Dreads are more dready.
Yeah. So a lot has happened. I know from what I could tell, you were struggling to keep Katari alive after something happened to you in the hospital where you are now. Long story short, we brought you to the Animal Preserve. Jerr was able to heal you of that root virus, but then, for some reason, Sam tried to kill Katari. Do you have any idea of why Sam would do this?
You get a mental image of twisting vines constricting down on its flesh.
Similar to what I saw in the hospital. It's like, I'm not sure I understand that. This image, I mean, this is what Katari looked like. I assume that you were doing this to try and save Katari. That's what I would assume. But you have no idea why Sam would do this.
You get a strong emotion, sadness, aloneness, maybe a broken heart.
So, what that imagery is telling me is that this was unexpected. There's no reason behind this that you can think of.
An image of Katari standing alone with Sam going away from her.
Alright, one, I have no idea why Sam would do this. Sam has been, for the past several weeks, been trying to poison you. And has also taken a couple actual gunshots at me.
You get an image of Sam in military combat gear, in like a night vision green, pulling back the head of a North Belisara general and slicing their throat. You see another image of Sam moving through a dark hallway with what looks like a demon riding on their back, and the demon is wrapping their hand around the stock of a pistol and is pressing it into the head of a 8-year-old child and pulling the trigger. You see Sam and Katari holding hands as they fall out of an airship onto the deck of a Navy vessel, moving through that vessel until they get to the engine room where they plant explosives, and then they dive off. Then you get an image of a broken heart. It's him walking away from Katari, and Katari trying to follow after, holding out a hand, and Sam turns it away. He takes the hand and closes it into a fist and pushes it back into Katari's chest and walks away.
So you feel a bit abandoned and betrayed by Sam. So, honestly, that's the way I think everyone in this group is probably feeling right about now. Or at least should be. What's important now is that you focus on trying to heal Katari. I am going to try and get Jerr to do as much as he can to aid that effort as well. So, just so you know, I'm not with any of the rest of the group right now, and I don't know when I will be again, but I will try and reach back out to you periodically as I have questions or feel you're ready for more information. I mean, we set out here to get you and Katari better. So that's still what I'm going to focus on right now.
You get the image of a blood blossoming.
Just random.
Probably trying to convey some sort of emotion.
Okay. But there's no background.
Correct.
There's no setting.
Yeah, it's more of like a forest setting.
Okay.
Like a grove of trees and like a single light beam coming down and hitting this bud that's on the floor of the grove.
Yeah, Julian's gonna, just as he disconnects, be like, alright, just hang in there. And then he's gonna drop the connection.
Okay. So you go and back to your...
Since he's already knows where that is going to be, because when we first started, when we first got here, we went to a place where we saw them getting Serrani a new chassis, both Serrani and Bear a new chassis. Would that be a similar place where maybe some elemental containers would be?
Yeah, there would be elemental containers there.
Okay.
But I think that was at the hospital.
It was a
Wing. Yeah, because there were two wings. There was
Okay.
like a biological wing and a mechanical wing.
Julian knows where the exit to that wing is because that's where they exited to run after the guards that were chasing Chine and Sam. So he would go closer to that section
Okay.
because Julian's going to try and
Talk
see
to
if he
Serrani,
can
yeah.
talk to Serrani.
Okay. So would you all like to look for Julian?
I want to try something that probably will not work. I want to try and use my elemental to reach Julian.
Okay. Knowing your rolling abilities, we'll see what happens.
An 11.
Point of order in the story: the only elemental that has actually ever initiated contact with Julian first, like it's not Julian making the connection, was the fire elemental that was in his mother and Aelin. That's the only elemental that has ever initiated the contact.
So not that it can't be done.
I was thinking about it. It's like, ooh, that's never. Well, no, it's happened with that elemental, but that's the only one that we have experienced that.
So
happen with.
the backstory is there.
The backstory is there that it could be possible. Maybe that the elementals just don't want to initiate contact that way, or if they can't initiate contact that way, or it's Julian's connection with that elemental is so honed in that that's why that elemental can do that.
So do I succeed with my 11?
I don't think this is something you've ever done before,
No.
so I'm inclined to say no.
Especially with how little communicating your
Exactly.
water
Like,
elemental has
you're-
done.
Did he succeed in talking to his elemental?
Your relationship with your elemental is your relationship with your elemental is a little tenuous at best. So if anything, like you trying to poke at it to communicate would probably surprise it, I'm imagining. And you're like, hey, I want to talk to Julian. And he's like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, probably.
I appreciate the thought, but the backstory doesn't seem to support.
Yeah. Does anyone have any tracking skills?
No. I can see if Shade can find Julian.
Does
Okay.
he want to be found? I mean, that seems like he.
I walk off from the rest of them.
Yeah, but we're...
I mean, we're still walking.
Yeah, I walk away from you guys.
Where are you going?
Do you know where Julian went to?
Nope. Find him quicker, we split up.
You're right. We would.
We don't have a way to communicate with each other.
Yep.
This sounds like a terrible idea.
Y'all go that way, I'll go this way.
Sounds like you're trying to convince them.
Yep.
Trying to make a persuasion.
I'm good at that.
And it's against a willpower.
Yep.
25.
13.
11. Did you roll?
Oh no!
Rolling willpower.
Hey, pick another one. You know those low numbers on the other ones.
No.
Bum, bum,
1, 2, 3, 6.
12.
12.
So we are convinced. We must split up to find Julian.
Yes.
This sounds like a wonderful idea.
The worst.
That's a great idea.
That's a terrible idea.
Not only for like just
Why do I have a feeling that someone is going to try and murder Julian?
No.
Yep.
I am not going to try to murder
I'm not
Julian.
saying
I wasn't saying Chime either.
Yes. As soon as I'm away from the group there, I'm going to find one of the people that work here and ask if they've seen which way Julian went.
you ask where.
If they saw which way Julian went.
one of the animal handlers, actually says, "I think I saw him heading off into the woods."
Which direction? That way?
Yeah, that way.
I start heading that way.
It's a very popular direction.
Yeah.
I ask Shade to figure out if he can figure out where Julian is. I rolled for Shade and I just got it. Yep. 24 plus 8, 32, 33. Oh, I'm sorry. That was for conjuration. It probably should just be 40 because it's just straight extra normal.
What a shame.
That is a shame. Those were a lot of 6s.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, and that was 3.
You get a mental image of Shade blowing raspberries and spinning on an office chair. I appreciate your honesty. I have a fate point.
Yay! Might need those later.
I don't know why I'm giving you fate points.
I don't know why you're giving them fate points either.
Because you like to stir the pot.
No.
Not at all.
Also, it's a point of order. It is still technically the same day,
Yeah.
so Julian still has his sight.
Okay.
Then I'm just going to search for him.
Okay.
I'm bewildered.
11.
So, should this be opposed with either survival or tracking or sneak? Since Julian purposely is trying to find a place where it's...
Yeah, if you want to go with tracking,
Okay.
because you're trying to hide your tracks.
Yeah.
Archie, what are you doing?
Wow.
What the heck? It's a 6
Oh, poor sweet baby.
with 5 dice.
It's that kind of day.
Oh my gosh, that
Last
was
few
an
sessions have
awful
been that
roll.
kind of day. Jeremy has been
You got a
having
what?
some really bad
11.
sessions.
Yeah, Jeremy has been having some really bad sessions.
It's great. I love it.
It's not proximity to me.
I'm going to spend a character point.
What are you up to?
I might spend all 3. Is a 10. Character point number 2.
Archie's of the mindset, if he's not here, then he doesn't want to be found. He walked off for a reason.
That's your 11.
But at this point, all of them are dead
How we go to the
set
defender,
on
which
I know.
finding
I know.
him.
So,
So I guess we're going to go find him so that we can get this mission on a roll.
I mean, you don't have to do that.
What, should I just sit around and look at cards?
I rolled a 4.
You can do a whole bunch of whatever you
character
want.
point number 3. I gotta do it. I rolled a 6. Yes.
So was
Well,
that
now
put you
that I
at?
know something about
Oh, never mind. Keep
who
going.
this chick is.
Add 11 to that, so that was 22.
Maybe I just go
6, 10.
looking
We're at
for
15.
him, but kind of like, oh, if he crosses my way, but not looking for
So
him.
you're going to wander around.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
wander
not gonna
around
happen.
aimlessly, mostly
Yeah.
just to think
I'm about
about
to
what
whole
I
search
just
too,
remembered.
so.
Alright, well, I got a 22 to hide my tracks.
Yeah. So.
Oh! Yes! But that's still more
So,
than
yeah, still more than 22, because, yeah. 28 plus 2, 30.
So you'd have to do at least 45 minutes of walking
Okay.
to find out where Julian has been. Not where Julian is. I taught Chine too well on our journey.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Jerr, I think I'm going to have you hang back from the great Julian hunt.
Yeah, I'm feeling that Jerr would be like, where are you guys going? We should be together looking for him. And they're just like going off on their own, in their own directions, all 3 of them, in different directions, not listening to a single word that I'm saying.
Nope.
I'd be like, well, I guess I'll wait here for you guys to get back.
Archie's gonna call out in the distance. Yeah, sucks to wait, doesn't it? And then keeps on walking.
Hi, Mr. Lan.
Hey, Bear.
How are you?
A little confused and frustrated. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling better. Do you like my new face?
Now that you have one, yeah. You look like a normal kid now.
A green kid.
Oh, the green
Let's not
is
discriminate. Yeah.
the green is a little weird, but
The doctors said it was so I could photosynthesize. I don't know what that means, but I'm green.
Okay. That's new to me, but cool. How's that working for you?
I'm not really hungry anymore.
Huh. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for you.
Time of day.
It would be getting late now.
Close to dusk.
Close to dusk.
Did you need me for something, Bear?
I didn't, but the chief doctor actually asked me to come get you. They want to show you something.
Oh. Okay. Let's go see what they have to show me then.
Okay.
Lead the way.
So you don't go to a hospital. It looks more like a laboratory, like a research building.
Is this where they took the root virus that I gave them?
No, I think this is something different. Maybe, I don't know. I'm a kid.
Fair enough. Well, let's go check it out.
Oh, let me show you something. This is something a friend of mine taught me. He starts kicking a tree.
Kicking. Nice. I learned how to kick when I was a kid, too.
Yeah, it's great.
Turns his bear could actually do some damage.
Well, you can kick dirt on someone, or you can actually kick the person, or you can kick a tree and a coconut can fall out of it.
I can't.
Or you
kick
can
a
get
tree
so
and make a
mad and you
coconut.
can just like kick a building, and then the building will fall over.
I've never experienced that personally.
I don't know if I have to. Maybe Kick was lying about that one.
Kick, huh?
Yeah, he named it after himself.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Let's go see what these doctors have to say.
All right, so you go into the research building, and Bear leads you to a room. It's not a pleasant sight. It's like a observation room. You know, like how you have one room where like some technicians and researchers can be sitting and taking notes and observing a subject through a glass window on the other side.
Yeah.
On the other side of the glass, from where the researchers are sitting, there is a man in North Belasaran military uniform.
Uh-oh. Where did he come from?
Well, he got a little too close to the border.
Did he come from the same direction that we did?
Well, from the north,
How far behind us was he?
about 12 hours behind you.
That's not good.
He's under sedation, though. He doesn't know you're here. Hopefully. We think
Does
that it
he
was...
know he's here?
No.
Okay. It's not good. This is not good. We're being chased.
We wanted you to see something.
What's wrong?
Well, it's not something that's wrong. It's just a solution to an issue.
Really?
Yeah. Just watch.
Okay.
The lead researcher clicks a button and says, all right, Aqua 1, go ahead and begin. Individual in a hazmat suit comes in, and they turn on a speaker so you can hear what's going on the inside. And you can hear the person in the hazmat suit ask the individual their name. He responds that his human's name is Wexler, and that his name is Digger.
Huh. You communicating with the elemental?
Yes, the researcher says the human is actually in a coma. We medically induced a coma.
How are you able to communicate with the elemental?
Well, like we're able to communicate. Like they're talking to each other. The elementals are talking to each other. But listen,
Alright.
Digger, of your own free will, do you choose to leave Wexler? I do. Aqua 1 goes ahead and opens a jar that's been sitting on the table and pulls out an orb of water. And they form a thin layer of water over all except Wexler's face. And they control the body's temperature as it begins to spike, and these like clods of dirt begin falling out of the human's mouth and nose. The temperature of the person starts skyrocketing, and Aqua 1 begins freezing it down. And there soon is a pile of dirt on the floor next to Wexler. Temperature continues to climb, and it looks like it's dangerous. But Aqua One is able to keep it under control,
Okay.
and is actually able to bring things back down. He starts hyperventilating. And Aqua One starts like using compression, like water pressure, to slow his breathing down and keep it at a static rate that will keep him in homeostasis. The whole process takes like 20 minutes. It's a long time. And it's really tense, and it seems to really take a lot out of Aqua One. But they are able to do it. Eventually, Aqua One is able to pull the water back, and Wexler just kind of collapses to the side, held into place by restraints. The researcher says to you, this is the first time we've done it with an earth elemental, but we've done it with some others as well.
Did they have to be willing?
No. In fact, our first volunteer was definitely not willing. But the humans came out of it perfectly fine. Elementals are perfectly fine. They're receiving a lot of treatment, but they're not adjusting well to their artificial life forms that's hosting them. That's going to require some more psychological work, but the integration sickness is something that we'll be able to work through.
Could you do this for me?
We're going to go ahead and take a break. Think on that.
Have you ever watched an absolutely terrible movie and thought to yourself, what were they thinking?
Because we sure have.
So much so that we named our podcast after it.
What were they thinking?
Starring me, Nathan.
And Brendan.
Every other week, we take a bad to questionable movie and unpack it, so you don't have to.
And then every other week, we A your cues with our mailbag.
Or, talk about whatever.
Yeah, no big whoop.
No big whoop at all. So that's What Were They Thinking?
You can catch us on Podbean, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and more.
On also a ton of platforms that Brendan made up.
All right, and we are back.
I've been thinking about it for a very long time, and I told myself that if I ever found a way, I'd break my bond with my elemental, choose an earth elemental instead, if that's possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any earth elementals available at the moment.
Can you show me how to do it?
I could, yes. We've written up this documentation here. We can go ahead and give that to you, and we can also, we don't have any volunteers at the moment, but we can walk you through the process.
Okay.
And he begins to show you the method of removing it. Now, as far as we know, water elementals are the only one with the capability of successfully disbonding another elemental.
Okay. Does it make it easier if the elemental is willing to disbond? Or is it the same difficulty?
It can be easier. So here with Digger, that it was easier because apparently Wexler and Digger had been in conflict for quite a while before this. I think it's probably a situation similar to you. But
I'm not in conflict.
So just because I think it would be interesting,
yes.
and Julian did say he would try to reconnect with Jerr's elemental, I think it would be interesting if it happened right now.
Jerry's elemental?
Yes.
Okay.
While they're discussing
That would
desponding,
that would be an interesting.
Yes.
see how the elemental feels about it.
Okay.
So even though Julian is setting up to do something else, he would still probably check back in. So now might be an interesting time to do it. Should I roll for it now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
I'm going to spend another character point, I just know it. Because I'm going to get like 20. 20.
Oh, you said it, not us.
Alright, character point.
Okay.
It's 23.
Exactly what you need.
That's what I need. And -2.
So, if I were to roll my extra normal to practice this going on,
You'd be at a minus.
No, I thought it was the elementals at a -2 for all elementals. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's-
Any time he's trying to use elemental power of anything. Now, if Jer's doing anything on his own, he doesn't have a minus. But anything involving the elemental is a minus. So, at that moment, Julian connects with Jerr's elemental in general state of mind.
Concerned, doubtful, worried.
All right, so to the elemental, Julian's gonna be like, so what are we worried about? Is it Guittari?
You get a feeling of disconnection, whatever that means to you.
You think Guittari's elemental wants to disconnect?
No.
Verbally? I hear that.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, voice. Nice. Who's disconnect what then?
Jerr, me.
Why? We need Jerr. You do understand that would kill him.
No.
No. When an elemental disbonds from a human, it kills the human.
No.
This is common knowledge. Everybody knows this. I've seen it plenty of times.
No.
So you're telling me the elementals have a choice whether they kill their human host or not?
Come see.
Come see what?
Jerr.
Well, unfortunately right now that's not possible. I still have things to do. And one of the things that you should be doing is trying to heal Guittari. So he's going to roll elemental persuasion.
Okay.
To try and get a sense of concern, not for himself, but Guittari. 6.
Oh, now you roll all right.
37.
Last time
You had said any legendary roll
Yes.
wins you, and that's 37.
Yes. There you go.
All right, so that's 37 to try and push the feeling of concern for Guittari onto Jerr's elemental.
Okay.
So I guess Jerr would be like, what? I tried to heal Guittari. I'm worried about learning this right now. This is important. This is important for everyone.
So that's what Jerr's saying to the elemental.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Julian is saying also to the elemental, so I don't know how the elemental is going to deal with being talked at twice in two conflicting manners. But Julian's going to say, we can definitely talk about this separating or disconnecting from a human without killing them later. But right now, Guittari needs Jerr and your abilities. The elemental Daisy cannot do it on her own.
You get a sense of confirmation.
Great. Later. And disconnects. So now you're back to normal.
I think that every time you disconnect like that is just going to irritate my elemental, because you're like barging into its consciousness and then leaving like a door you can just open and close.
That's how he treats us.
So,
all of us.
Sort of how elementals treat humans. Like, I'm done with this one, let me just leave.
Oh, too bad. He died.
Jerry's just gonna like grab his head real quick, like he's got a headache or something, and he's just gonna be like to the tech, can I take this manual with me? Can I keep it?
Sure, yeah. It's a copy we actually prepared for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I will practice this later. Is it okay if I go back and check out on Guittari?
Sure.
It's a long day.
Hey, Terra Proximus was a long 3 days, so I don't see why you guys are
That
complaining.
was a long week.
All right. Who's next?
Julian is poised outside he's outside the hospital, but I guess a different wing than where everybody was and left from.
Okay.
He's going to try and connect with Serrani.
Okay.
That's right. He has seen the elemental before. He's not ever connected with Serrani's elemental before.
Okay.
Also, will alter the target number whether he can connect with Serrani's.
You're at a -2, correct?
I'm at a -2.
Or
No, I was at
He was at
Only during
-2.
the connection.
only during the connection.
Yeah. But how far away Serrani is also could alter the target number.
Okay.
How far away is Serrani?
He's in the temple.
Oof. Is that within a kilometer?
Yeah,
Okay.
remember, everything is on that.
Okay.
The capital is on that hill.
All right, so it's a 23 then.
Yeah.
You can use all.
I'm just like right at the cusp of like being able to do it without character points. Let's have a good roll here, please. Oh, yes. 22. 23! Right on the die without a character point.
But with an exploding die.
Yes. So he's able to tell which air elemental is Serrani's.
Oh, it's name is Serrani.
So in this case, the elemental and the android have the same name.
Because, so here's the thing, it's like, Archi is different because Archi was meant to be in infiltration mode. Serrani, she did that eventually, but she has always had the same name.
Okay. Also, before actually connecting with Serrani, since it's got that kilometer radius, is shade within a kilometer?
Even a rod.
Odd. No. It's not within the kilometer. Excellent. So, I'm going to reach out and talk to Serrani then. And I believe this is the first time... No. He's done it with Archie before. Talking with an android elemental.
Okay.
Well, sort of. Since it was not the elemental that was purposed for... So, alright. We'll see how this works. Gonna reach out and be like, Serrani, this is Julian. I know this is kind of weird. Maybe for you, because I don't know if you've ever spoken to a human this way before, as I'm not with you.
You're not the first who's done this.
There's others.
A long time ago, but yes.
Now, what do you consider a long time ago?
Centuries?
Wow. Okay, that is a long time.
Go ahead.
So, I'm interested in learning for purposes of heading back to Consiglio, since that seems to be the mission that Archie is purposed for. We're going to, no doubt, encounter some elemental resistance in the form of subjugators. I'm interested in the technology that you all have developed in these containers that can contain the elemental on in the physical plane. How is that possible?
Well, it's insulated.
Insulated with...
Argon.
I don't think Julian would know what argon is, unless that is a standard
Probably
North
not.
Bell
Because,
education.
I really don't know if North Belisira would be all that okay with knowing much more beyond reading, writing, and how to
Well, I
say.
mean, there are some specialized tracks
Oh, yeah.
as far as education. But I don't
Right,
think
but
that's
it's mostly practical.
general. Yeah, I mean,
So, like, unless you're into science, chemistry in particular, you're probably not learning a lot about noble gases.
that's Julian's question is like, argon, what is that?
Well, it's a naturally occurring gas that is atomically inert.
Okay. I vaguely understand what you were talking about. First question, how does that actually contain them?
When you're talking about the canisters, it's a metal tube with a gap and then a larger metal tube outside of it. When an elemental is put into it and it's sealed shut, then it has the argon placed into it, and if it's being inserted into a chassis, then it is connected to the sensory outputs. So the argon basically acts as a way to keep the elemental from the outside environment. It's a naturally found gas, but it is... The way to put it is this. It replaces air, so it can't interact with the air like an air elemental would. And then the metal is purified, so it's not bendable in terms of earth.
So the argon is for the air elementals,
Essentially.
and the metal is for the earth. What components are there to help with fire and water?
Well, water is oxygen and hydrogen. So when you have the argon, it removes hydrogen and oxygen. And fire and water both need oxygen to work. Fire and water are far more closely related than one would expect.
So the argon also is for fire and water.
Yes.
The metal is from earth. What's the metal?
The metal is platinum.
Platinum. I'm not sure I know what that is. It's not a metal I've heard of. Says Julian.
Yes.
I'm just trying to figure out ways to actually... Because it seems like when we're going back to Consiglio, our conflict is not just going to be against humans, but against the subjugators who may be in the path of the objective. So having a way to either defend or combat those subjugators directly would be beneficial. Honestly, I was thinking it was the metal container that was somehow containing all of them. Sorry, I'm a guy that knows how to survive in the wilderness. I mean, I know, yes, you said fire needs air. Yes, I know that. But as far as...
It doesn't need air, it needs oxygen.
Oh, okay, my point exactly. As far as the kinds of air that there are, that's something they don't teach us in North Belisara. At least not to anybody in my class level.
Yes.
Now, how naturally occurring is this type of air? Argon.
So it's actually one of the 3 most prevalent kinds of gases. So it's fairly naturally recurring. But you would have to refine it out of the atmosphere because it does need to be pure. Unlike helium, which is only a byproduct of a very specific fire.
You're throwing out all these other names of what I assume are gases.
I never expected nuclear chemistry to come into Elements of War, but here we are.
Well, with the name Elements.
Elements,
of
yeah.
War. Now we've brought it to a new meaning.
A new nerdiness.
Well, is this something that anybody here at the Animal Preserve would be willing to help me develop? Is a way to use those canisters in a more defensive way rather than just a containment device for willing elementals?
What do you mean? Like, do you want to use it to kill an elemental?
No, I wasn't talking about killing. Right now, as it stands, there's not a whole lot of way that humans can combat subjugators directly other than fighting their human hosts. If there's some way we could defend and combat those elementals directly, that would give us somewhat of an advantage, especially since probably they're not suspecting that humans are able to do that.
Yeah, well, there is some research that is being developed about disconnecting a host from an elemental. In fact, Jerr the researchers were going to be approaching Jerr about that today.
Wait, so you serious that's a thing?
Yes. Newly developed, but yes.
By newly developed, humans' concept of time obviously is not fitting Android's concept of time, since you guys have been around a lot longer than we expected or suspected. So newly developed, like in the past year, 2 years, 10 years?
It's been in development for about a decade, but it most recently came to fruition within the past few months. Actually, I think they were performing the last elemental tests today.
When today?
Now?
Like right now?
Yes.
Who are they testing on?
Some soldier.
Oh, hold on, back up. A soldier?
Yes.
You have soldiers? I didn't think you had soldiers.
Well, not a human. Some human North Belisarian soldier.
There's North Belisarian soldiers here?
One.
Since when? Before or after we got here?
So it was about 12 hours after you arrived.
Oh, crap. That complicates things.
I'm sure.
Were we ever going to be told about that? That there potentially was North Belisarian soldiers that followed us here?
Well, we figured we could handle it. And also, if you haven't noticed, you all have been rather busy dealing with an encroachment of Archi into everything. And,
well, that's one of the reasons.
Knifing Katari. And
someone shooting up the hospital.
It's been busy.
Yes.
Typical humans.
All right, so 3 things from this conversation.
Yes.
1, the North Belisarians potentially know that we're here. 2, I would definitely be interested in knowing more about this safe disbonding procedure that you have?
Well, there's a manual.
There's a manual?
Yes.
Can I see? Can I get a copy of it?
I think there was a copy given to Jerr.
I'm not with Jerr right now.
You're not with me right now.
Yes, but that's different. I can talk to you. I can't talk to Jerr. Well, more specifically, I can't talk to the elemental. Well, I can talk to the elemental. The elemental doesn't like to talk.
Your third point.
My third point, would someone from the animal reserve be willing to develop this quickly? Or can I have access to some unused empty containers?
I do believe we have a couple of those that we can spare.
Okay, I'm outside of that. I'm outside of that wing of the hospital right now.
All right, well, we'll see what we can do to coordinate that for you.
Okay.
I tried to come back yet.
Give me a die roll.
I was, 45 minutes behind you?
Yeah. I haven't been 45 minutes yet.
No. That's not a bad roll, though.
That's not a bad roll.
17. You're making your way back from the hidey hole camp cave.
Okay.
His hidey hole.
Where he was hiding.
Julian's hidey hole.
So Julian would disconnect, and then he would actually still stay in the vicinity of that wing, but further back into the
underbrush,
so he can observe it. Because he just disclosed his location, so he wants to see how that response is going to play about.
So you're on your way back. Archie is wandering around doing Archie things.
Thinking about past lovers, yes.
Yes, past lovers. Your previous elemental was air, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're thinking about Katara.
Mm-hmm.
And you're walking around. And you find a dog park. So you sit down on a bench. And you start thinking about this time that you were in a park in Consiglio. There's a lot of parks in Consiglio. You sit down on a bench at the dog park and you're watching all the creatures play. And you start thinking back about, like, wow, I knew Katari in another life. And you seem to have another memory just bubble to the surface. And you're walking towards the park of everlasting success. And Katari is sitting on a bench, shoulders slumped, head down. Go ahead and give me a number.
4.
You currently have an earth elemental. Katari looks up. She's been throwing like bread to the ducks, like a crust of a stale bread. She says, "Oh, there you are. Finally."
Sorry. I was held up on my shift.
Held up on your shift? Is that what you call it? I was just there looking for you.
Katari, listen. If you think I was with somebody else, that's not the case. I mean, I was with somebody else, but that's not what you think.
Look, all I know is that we've been seeing each other now for 6 months, and last 3 dates, every single time we've made arrangements, it's been the same thing. You say, "Oh, let's get together and do this. Let's get together and do that. And let's get together and do this." I'm all excited about it. I get ready. I show up. I'm waiting for you. You never come.
Well, I'm here now.
And you're never the same person. I don't understand.
What do you mean I'm never the same person? I'm the same person you met 6 months ago.
No, you're not. Every time I see you, you have a different excuse. You have different stories. You have an entirely different outlook on life. I don't understand.
Maybe you're the one who's different.
Yeah? You think so? What's different about me from 6 months ago? You can't even remember. What did we do last time we went on a date?
We went to that one restaurant downtown.
That one restaurant downtown. What was the name of it?
Le Restaurante? Okay, it doesn't matter what it's called. It mattered that I was with you.
Were you? What was I wearing?
Jeez, you think I would remember what you were wearing? Half the time I see you're not wearing anything, anyways. Look, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Look, here's the thing. I don't know who you are.
You think I know who I am?
I would hope you know who you are. I mean, that's one of the fundamental functions of being an individual is knowing who you are.
Not everyone has everything figured out like you, Katari.
Whoever said I had everything figured out? I'm living on someone else's couch. I haven't been able to hold a job down. The sanitation job was a bust. You weren't able to help me get a job at the restaurant. I'm honestly thinking about, like, reactivating.
Don't do that.
Well, at least I would be able to be with people who understand me. People who are, if not genuine, then at least, open.
Don't act like I wouldn't miss you.
I don't even know if you'd remember me.
I see. Honestly, it seems like you've made up your mind anyways.
Well, I mean, it's like, do you remember we had been together for a few weeks? I came to the bar. I sat at the very same spot where I sat every time since we met. And you looked me in the eye and you said, "Hey, are you new in town?" You asked me for my number. And we'd already been on, how many dates at that point? You didn't even remember me. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can understand that if I was with someone who was going through some stuff. But you're not. You're a bartender. It's not like you're, serving in the military and you have to go off and you have to do things and then you can't talk about it.
You don't know what I'm going through.
You're right. Because you don't even know and you won't even open up to me. I feel like I'm just disposable to you.
You're the best thing in my life right now.
Compared to...
Exactly, compared to what? I have nothing else. Sorry. Please believe me, I love you. I don't know what's happening, but every time I see you, I remember that I love you.
You know what? I think I'm just going to take some space for a while. I like you a lot, and I want things to work out, but I can't keep on being hurt by you. Stands up, pulls her jacket up around her neck, closed, and just starts walking off towards the nearest aqua rail stop. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Bone Throwers Theater. Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Ellie, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is bonethrowerstheater. You can also look us up on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.